Oh, welcome to the Sharpe Way Show. So happy to have you with us this evening. A little bit past 8 p.m. on the East Coast. You're saying 8 p.m., Larry. I thought you were Mr. 7 p.m. True, I usually am, but tonight it is 8 p.m. Why? Because I never know. I always do 8 p.m. when I do my member shows because I never know if people are going to be in the East Coast, West Coast, wherever they're going to be. So I try to give them some kind of time to see where they're going to be. And of course, everyone here is on the East Coast. But that isn't the point. The point is I didn't know that when I first said this. So I have a Sharpie's member show and the people who are on, and you guys are like, Larry, why should they become a member? So you can join me. Be jelly. I hope you are, because all the cool kids came today. They did. And a newbie is here, someone who has never been here before, the one and only, known as Kintsugi, but her real name is Brianna. How are you, my dear?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Glad that you are here. And someone who was here once before. He is the man who used to be on Long Island, but no more. He's one of those people who packed up and left. He is Charles. How are you?
I got out of town, and I'm doing great. How's everybody tonight?
Absolutely. And our returning champion. I think the man who I said was on like 45 times, not that many, but a bunch of times. He has been on many times. A friend of mine who, by the way, I'll be seeing this weekend, which is even more impressive, the man himself. Dean, how are you, sir?
I am doing amazing. And I'm coming to you live from NYC and Chelsea. So we could even ask people on the street what they think about their problems if we wanted to.
We could, and they would probably yell at you because it's New York City. But yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But you could do it. Absolutely, you could do it. The piece I wanted to bring up, which I thought was kind of important, and is what is actually important to us. And I do this show, 3-4 times a week, sometimes more. And I'm always trying to talk about something that I think is important to me, whatever it is. My team gets mad at me sometimes because they think something's more important, but then I'm doing my thing or whatever the case may be. With all the stuff going on, you know, you got now today, you heard about the banning of guns for trans people. Tariffs are still all over the place. RFK got yelled at yesterday because he's dealing with the COVID jab, right? Job market report, that's terrible. They're still rounding up immigrants, right? The National Guard's going to cities. Supposedly Trump's going into Chicago. Still no e-files, Mr. EpiPen, still none, even though now they're having those chats outside. They're having all those talks outside. AI still wrecking the joint and trashing jobs everywhere, still doing that, right? Gaza's still fighting there, still fighting Ukraine. All that's still happening, right? So much happening. People can't get houses. People can't find boyfriends, girlfriends. They're firing people with the Fed. I named like 25 things just now. The question is this all distraction, or are some of them actually important? And what should we be caring about?
I actually think you depressed me with all that.
Yes.
I'm so sad now. I'm so sad.
But Charles, maybe that's the goal. Maybe the goal is to throw so much at you to think that there's no way of fixing. So just support me because I'm your savior, right? I'm the guy who's going to save you from all the boogeymen out there, all the bad things out there at you. Just support me and I'll be your savior. Maybe that's the plan.
I mean, I think distraction certainly is happening, whether it's a plan or whether it's whether it just comes out of greed or a number of other factors, and this is just a result of it. But you know, there's some people that probably think there's a group of people and they're just meticulously plotting this out. I think it's much more likely that, you know, it's a consequence of the way people, or the way power evolves. Maybe that's the right way to put it.
I think that's a valid point. I don't believe, I know some people do. I don't believe there's like some massive, conspiracy guy at the top of some mountain going, ha, this will get Brianna pissed off. Like, I don't think there's someone doing that. I don't think that's true, right? This will make Charles depressed. This will do it, right? Do this thing. That'll get Charles. I don't think anybody's doing that. I think you're right. I think this is almost like a consequence right, of the thing. And of course, by the way, Mike Voss in the house busted my stones already, saying, "Could you make the topic more broad, Larry?" Okay, Mike, it was on purpose. All right, I'm trying to be good here. I know you would have been a jerk and been like, "Okay, tell me the details of what the Houthis are doing in the Red Sea." That's what Mike would have done. It made everybody go, "What are you talking about?" And then Mike would have talked for an hour and a half about it because he knows it, and everybody else would have looked for him. I didn't do that, Mike. See? Take that. You laughing, Brianna, am I right?
I like that it's broad, actually. There's so much more to talk about. Yeah, I actually appreciate that.
Straight Ann just popped in on Rumble and he goes, Department of War. I forgot that. Did you guys hear that? They're going to change our Department of Defense to Department of War.
That's what it was originally.
That's what it was. Yes. Back in the day, it was Department of War. Yeah. And they changed it to Department of Defense.
Really? Did they change?
Go ahead.
Did they ever change the maps in the Gulf of Mexico? Does it actually say Gulf of Americas now?
Yes.
So it does.
That's crazy.
So we followed through on that one.
Yes, absolutely. So yeah. No. If Trump says he's going to do some stuff like that, he'll do it. Oh, he'll do it. Oh, he will. There's no doubt. This is going to become Department of War. But I got to tell you, as much as it makes me feel bad, like I don't like the feeling of it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's real. It's real. Like it is. It's Department of War. It's not Department of Defense. It's real.
Right. We're not defending anything.
We're not defending anything.
Yeah, that's true. Right. Yeah. Yeah, it does make it sound like they're a company manufacturing it, right?
Yes. We are always, for those of you who don't know, we have been at war since what, 1941 or whatever, almost consistently. Like a couple years we weren't at war, but almost every year since 1941. And we haven't declared war since 1943.
Which is, of course, against our Constitution, right? I mean, the way they're all doing it. So, I mean, this shouldn't be happening. But I guess what it can't, I mean, nobody's willing to challenge it, or it's too difficult to challenge in court, or how does that work?
You don't get it, okay? Trans people might have guns, all right?
Okay.
So who needs the Constitution when trans people might have guns, okay? So
I didn't even know that was a thing. That was in the news. They're going to take the guns away from trans people. What?
Yes.
Okay, that's just ridiculous. Or like, I can't even believe that's a thing. But
so get your priorities straight. That's clearly more important as a war. Come on.
Think about this, about the declaring war thing. Think about 9/11. We literally had planes flying into buildings in the United States of America, and our government is so weak and inefficient, it can't declare war on terrorists. We call it the war on terror, but we never declared war then. Go back and look at those planes flying into the World Trade Center and say, how did we not declare war? Because
we should have declared war on Al Qaeda. You are correct.
Right, that's who I was thinking of.
And we've done it before. And back in the day, back in the 1800s, we actually declared war on the Barbary pirates, who were pirates in North Africa, and they were stopping with our trade. And Jefferson was like, "Oh no, you don't. No. We are trading, and you're not getting our way. And if I got to get my boys to get the battleships over there and blow you up, I will do so." And he did. He declared war. In fact, if you look at the Marines' hymn, it says, "From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli." Tripoli was the capital of the Barbary pirates, and the Marines landed and captured Tripoli. And that's what that whole thing's from. It's from that war we declared war on the Barbary pirates. North Africa wasn't like a country. It was just the pirates. We declared war on them. We could have. You're right, Joe. We didn't. But I'll go one step further. We didn't rebuild the Twin Towers.
No. But the one tower that's there is beautiful.
I hate that tower.
Do you really?
I hate the Freedom Tower. And not because it's not a good-looking tower. I hate the tower because it represents us losing.
Oh.
Because we had two beautiful towers, and we fought in court for 12 years to rebuild the tower. And then the original plan, we couldn't even do. We screwed that up. And what's the biggest part of the Freedom Tower? The pool there that shows all the people who we lost. That's the biggest part. So the biggest part is remembering our failures. It's not a monument to the hundreds of firefighters and first responders who ran into the building to try to save people and died. That's what should be there. because that shows our victory and our bravery, and those are heroes. Don't get me wrong, the people who died, they're victims, but they're victims, not heroes. And we treat victims like heroes. They're two separate things. These people should have not have died. They're victims. But the people who ran into those buildings, those were heroes. They knew that could have collapsed. They knew they could have died. They knew all of that shit, and they still ran into that building. They should have a monument there, and that whole thing should go away. And I don't care if that makes you angry. Some of them I'm going to come at me, be mad at me. I don't care. It's still true.
That's why you should have run for mayor. You could have changed that.
Well, I would have had to run for mayor against Bloomberg, who had $1 gazillion. So
yes. Well,
I wasn't going to beat him. I wasn't going to beat him. By the way, he also bought a third term, by the way. I don't know if you guys know that. New York City, if you don't know, has term limits for a mayor. You can only do 2 terms. Unless your name is Bloomberg.
How do you buy it? Just
ask Bloomberg. He literally said, I want a third term. And they went, you can't do that. He said, hold on. Let me get my checkbook out. Okay. And they went, oh, term limits, laws. Who needs those things? Thanks for the cash, brother. And then boom, he had a third term. I'm not joking. That literally happened. He just bought himself a third term. And no one said a word. What are you going to do? When you got billions of dollars? Yes. Go ahead,
Was
Brian.
Bloomberg the one that ran for president in 2016 or something like
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yes.
I thought so.
Yes. And he spent $500,000 on his on it and got nothing. Correct. Yes. Let me grab a couple of comments here if I could. Kim is in the house. She says, I would imagine happiness is important to most Americans. Problem in America seems to be just what makes Americans happy. I agree completely, and that's always been my point.
Yes.
I think Kim is exactly correct. And the problem is, why at least every third or fourth show, I do a show on happiness. I do a show on why is this failing, something cultural, something like that, right? I'm telling you, unhappy people want socialism. Unhappy people want authoritarianism. Unhappy people want it. The defense against authoritarianism is only one thing, as silly as it sounds. It's happiness. Happy people don't accept authoritarianism. Every time you see a rise of fascism, a rise of socialism, a rise of authoritarianism, every single time, it's people who are unhappy and want an answer and don't care how they got it because they're so frustrated, there's no answer. That's the issue. Am I wrong here?
No, I think you're right. And I like your point you've made in the past where you say happy people do happy things and unhappy people do unhappy things. And the way, my biased opinion is the way to make people happy is through libertarianism. Because the libertarian viewpoint is you do you, right? And if I get to do me and all three of you get to do you, we're all going to be happy.
I completely agree. I'm totally biased, but you're still right.
I think it goes deeper than that. I think, I mean, just a brief history. I went through some really bad things, and I was on and off deeply depressed for like about 4.5 years, probably even longer than that. But really just really out of it, weaving in and out, trying to find my spark, trying to be excited about life and all those things. And I did have a reason to be depressed, but not that depressed. I should have just jump started and be like, okay, this happened, move on, And it's the food that we're eating. And if people don't have good health, then I was going to bed every night going like, I'm okay if I don't wake up,
Yep.
And I was repeating bad messages like that in my head. Like I was like, please just let this end,
Yes.
So changing to keto and organic food and exercise, and then repeating a message over and over again in my head. When I wake up in the morning, every morning now and throughout the day, whenever I start doing rumination or start thinking about like, oh my God, I could have been doing this for 4 years and already had $1 million company. I could have already been exercising. I could have already had muscles. I could have already, and then you go like, what was I doing? I mean, I did do things, but like, running at 10%, right? And then to find out not only did food and exercise and all those things, it wasn't like a shift in like, oh, I feel a little bit better. It was, like a shift from 10% to 1,000%. I don't know. Maybe
Yep.
it's my gut biome
No.
or something.
Look,
stopped
I got to
eating.
tell you, I've been saying
Yeah.
it before, and you know I'm going to say it. Keto's magic. It just is. Keto's magic. And there it is. There's the proof right there. It's magic. Sorry, Brianna. It's magic. I know you don't want to believe it. It is.
I'll go a
It's
step
magic.
further. I'll go a
Okay.
step further and say carnivore is where it's at.
Oh.
Well,
I used
carnivore
to-
is keto, though. Can we say that?
Yeah,
Technically,
like the
it
extreme
is.
version.
The extreme keto.
Yeah, the extreme keto.
I have the feeling, though, you
Yeah,
need to
for
mix
sure.
something in there. I don't, it seems.
But so let me touch
actually
this
try
piece you
it
just
for a
brought
little
up.
bit while, but
What people tried, they've been trying recently to attack RFK Jr. like there's no tomorrow. They've been all over him these last couple of days. And here's the thing that I remember what he said. He said a lot of things, but there's one thing that one or two things that really stuck with me. And one of them was he said, someone who has many people want to have a lot of dreams, the American dreams, all types of dreams, all types of needs and wants. But when you have a chronic disease, you only have one dream. And it's to not have that disease. That's it.
Wow.
It changes everything. When you have a chronic disease, it changes everything. And what got me angry, and I couldn't watch the entire 3 hours of them beating up RFK Jr. And here's the reason why I couldn't, because he started with the strongest piece. He started and he said 76% of Americans, that's what he said, that the CDC has said, have some form of chronic illness. If that's true, that's insane. But assuming that it's true, whatever number it actually is, I hope it's not that number. I hope that's wrong. But whatever the number is, it's higher than it's ever been. So what does that mean? Everyone who's been in charge has failed.
Yeah.
They should all be fired. I don't care. And when the senator goes, I'm speaking for these professionals, blah, blah, my response would have been, all your professionals suck. They're all shitty. They've been failing for decades. I don't care about their work. They're garbage. You've supported them. You're garbage. All the problems that are here are your fault. You've done nothing. So if you don't have a plan, you can shut up or give me a plan. And they'd have been like, I got 5 minutes. And I would have just yelled. The odds are very high. If I had been the HHS guy, I would have gone to jail today. That's the odds for contempt of Congress. I probably would have gone to jail. Just saying. I think I'm done. I'm done preaching. Go ahead, Charles.
Yeah, I'm all in on RFK and Maha. I think what he's doing is great. I think that the outrage. I watch all the channels. I watch MSNBC, the Morning Joe show, and I watch Fox and all that stuff.
Oh, you punish yourself, don't you?
Yeah, I do a little bit. I got to get it from the side. You know what I mean? And the meltdown on MSNBC, to me, it's like he was hired to do a job, and that's changed the direction of the CDC and the HHS, CDC, FDA. And so he can't keep people who are not going to want to make the change. So of course people are going to be fired. That's the whole idea. And those people who are crying about it, you should have had a better candidate.
Yes. Or you should have fixed the problem 10 years ago or 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. We saw this, to your point, Dean, we saw this happening to us as Americans a decade or more ago. Like we saw it happening. It didn't happen overnight. We watched it. It was a slow crawl of all this pain. And the pain, to your point, we think of it only as physical, but it's also mental, right? It's both. Because if you have a physical problem, it affects your mental health. If you have a mental problem, it affects your physical health. They're related.
Yeah. They are, yeah. Deeply.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think, and I have friends that might be watching right now that are really sort of against RFK, and I would consider them good at processing information, or at least I would think so.
Yeah.
So I think it can affect anybody if you see a message enough time. And I mean, I would like to do a documentary on that. I think that's an important one. It's a good case study. But in order to do that, I would need to you would need to look at all the different things that happened and then actually find the source, right? Analyze the source and find out, is that reliable and where did they get their information from? You would have to create an exact logical path and show them the receipts, right? And if you can do that, then I think those people can change their minds. And maybe I will end up finding out that there's a bunch of things I don't like that he did, right? But
but I go back to what I always bring up, Dean, is I am in no way saying RFK Jr. is perfect. I am not.
Right.
I'm not saying that in any way. What
No.
I'm saying is when people have no answer or a bad answer, they take the bad answer. So RFK Jr. has an answer. Others have none. The answer of the senators was, you're a bad guy. You're bad, RFK, bad. That's their entire argument. Their argument isn't, let me show you the way. Let me give you an answer. Let me take let me even just take responsibility for the damage that I've overseen for the past 10, 20, 30.
Right.
These guys have been in power for 20, 30 years. Not even let me take responsibility for that. No, you're bad. It's terrible.
Well, I mean, you guys, the panel here, you guys know those were sound bites for their campaigns. That's all that was.
Well, here, let me tell you this piece that bothers me. They make it to where it's only 5 minutes. Now, they will often say, I only have 5 minutes. You made the rule, asshole. Change the rule. You made the rule. Like, they made the rule. I only have 5 minutes because you said so. You can give yourself 10 if you want to, 15, an hour. You can do whatever you want. You made the rules 5 minutes so they can make sound bites for the commercials. That's why they did it.
Yeah, right. And I'm sure, Joe Rogan, if they're a qualified person or somebody of standing, would be happy to have him, or other people to have, to have them on their show to talk about whatever for 3 hours, right? To explain your position if you can't do it in Congress. There are a lot of methods to get your message out. And, but, just like, I own 2 advertising agencies in the past, and, the methods that work. You repeat a message over and over and over and over and over and over again, right? Every article starts out, RFK Jr. anti-vax, right? They don't explain what anti-vax even means. Just complaining about the fact that some people have vaccine injuries then makes you anti-vax, right? And, so I really believe, and this is what Peace Logic is trying to do. I have 3 really big passion projects, 2 ones and then some other smaller ones, but they're all centered around synchronizing things. The truth synchronized, right? Bringing people onto the same page, because I believe if we can find the truth, we're probably 80, 90%, maybe even more on the same page, with some minor discrepancies on what people believe, whether, it has to do with religion or it has to do with, pregnancy and all of those things. If we can find that common page and we can actually get as close as possible to the truth, then I think we can really turn this around. And I think AI can play a huge part in that, a huge part.
Let me bring in Brianna here. Brianna, you're someone who I don't think spends your life watching MSNBC and punish yourself like me and Charles and Dean. So
no.
you go. Where's your head on this?
MSDNC.
Yes. Where's your head in this?
What was your question?
I said, where's your head in this when it comes to what Charles was talking about, me, Dean? Where's you kind of watching? What do you think? You thinking that Dean is crazy? I mean, he is. But are you thinking that Charles is crazy? I mean, he is too. Okay, wait a minute. Are you thinking that then we're all crazy?
Yeah,
okay.
I'm kidding.
What are you thinking then? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
In regards to what you all said, or just like my take on the issue?
Give me your take. Give me your take. Give me your take. Do that.
Oh, like the issues in general that I'm concerned about.
How about the idea of happiness that we've been talking about?
Okay.
How about that? I mean, Dean shared some stuff with us about how he felt, how he's been depressed. I've shared my stories of horrible depression. I've had that more than once. I know that people suffer, but I think people want to be happy. It's hard to be happy, right? And particularly in today's world. And if every time you watch, the news, they're telling you everyone you like is evil and bad and horrible. I mean, how do you even find heroes to even, try to follow or to look up to? How do you do that?
I think happiness is a piece. I wouldn't say that's like the overall, fix. But to your point, you mentioned that like the keys to happiness is respect, love, and purpose. That part I agree with. But I would take a step further. Like happiness is a step, but I think like overall, I say duty to your fellow man. I would say.
Okay.
I didn't hear that. What?
She said duty to your fellow man.
Yeah, and I think we're missing that because people are just inherently selfish. We all are, it's kind of like a skill you have to build like throughout your life.
Well, not me. I'm the only one who's really altruistic. I'm the only one who's really altruistic.
Larry.
Yeah, everyone else is selfish. Just I'm the only one.
Special.
Now, hold on. If you are truly selfish, right? I'll just interject one thing. If you are truly selfish, you will help other people. You will do good things for other people because it reverberates
It makes
back.
you feel better.
It makes you feel better. And not only that, but it creates more good connections. And if you don't do those things, your life gets worse. So if you are being selfish. When I help people, I am being selfish because it just floods back to me, right? And I'm all worried about me and making me feel good. And so in order for that to happen, I need to make everybody, not everybody, but I mean, make the people around me feel good, right? So I think, it's a sort of misnomer, right? If you do need to be selfish, truly selfish, right? In order to get the best results, if you think of it that way.
All right, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to tell everybody you need to hit the share and repost this because Dean says I need to be selfish. So I'm being selfish. So do it for me. Otherwise, I'm mad at you because I'm selfish. And click the like button. Damn it! I'm telling you to click it and do it because I'm selfish. Because Dean said selfishness is good.
It's true. It propagates. More people listen. Whoa. More people get love. Boom! Your selfishness brought more love to the world, Larry. Thank you.
There we go.
If it leads to the same result, why not? No matter what your motivations are.
But I got to tell you though, what you're talking about basically what objectivists talk about, what Ayn Rand talked about, right? She actually said that selfishness is good. She kind of follows your rules. The problem is a difference between connotation and denotation, right? So denotation is what the word actually means, what actually happens. And Dean, you are correct. That's what actually happens. The problem is the connotation, which is how the word feels.
Right.
Selfishness feels terrible. When you say it, you're selfish. That means you're a bad, terrible person.
Yeah, it's greed. It's doing bad things to people because they're convenient for you or they bring some immediate thing to you. But the long-term consequences reverberate back. And we're all about now, getting immediate satisfaction.
Right. Let me grab a couple people who are being good to me right now. And this is Phil. Phil's become a member for 8 months. Thank you, Phil. Thank you. He says, have no pretenses. The Pentagon isn't teaching single moms judo or other self-defense. The Pentagon is planning murder. Clear and soberly, it's war. He's not wrong. Making a Department of War, actually, in my view, what I like about it is that now we as Americans, going back to my connotation, we have to accept that we're funding war. Right now, Americans have been fooled for the past 100 years, whatever number is, that we're funding defense. And we're not funding defense. We're funding war. And we should know we're funding war. I agree. I think Phil's right in the money. Before we go on, thank you, Phil, also for gifting a membership. And Daniel coming in strong, gifting 5 memberships. Guys, thank you so much. Grab the membership if you can. I appreciate it. The more we grab, the better. So I'm going to go back to this war thing and let me maybe give a hot take if I could. Maybe you tell me if I'm wrong here. I think we should care less about overseas war. And I mean a lot less about overseas wars. Because if we cared less about overseas war, I think there'd be less of them.
I agree.
Yeah, well, we'd start a lot of them, so that there would definitely be a lot less of them.
Start them or fund them.
Go ahead, Charles.
Fund them or
I think that the reason why I think what Phil said has a lot of merit, but I feel that our army, our military, our armed forces should be defensive. So it should be called the Department of Defense, because tying it into what you just said, Larry, because we shouldn't be out there dropping bombs on people, because so many people in the rest of the world look at us as a war machine. Not enough American citizens do, and we are, folks. I hate to tell it to you, but you want to think we're peaceful people. We may be, but our government is not. They are a war machine writ large. Just look. I mean, I was so upset that Trump bombed Iraq because he was supposed to be a peacemaker. Now he's back to being a peacemaker. He's trying. Biden just wanted to slaughter people in the Ukraine, and he was happy with that. At least Trump is back to trying. But even dropping those bombs, that's not our fight. That's Israel's fight. has nothing to do with us. Let Israel bomb them. And if they don't have the bombs for it, oh well, life goes on. It wasn't for us to do. So
yeah. And let the countries that are bombing take the blowback. If you believe that bombing is the right answer, that's your last attempt, you think it's the only way you can get around with it, then you should be prepared to take whatever blowback comes from that bombing. You've decided that that's what I need to do to survive or whatever. Okay, then that's the blowback you got to take. Versus let us pay for it and we take the blowback. What?
Yeah. Why are we doing it?
Exactly.
Military-industrial complex. We know why. So we can answer that question, but it's not right. That's what I'm trying to say.
Absolutely.
It's the same thing that's going wrong in every category, right? Pharmaceutical companies are supposed to be producing drugs that cure us, that save us. They'd rather produce a drug that you just have to for the rest of your life rather than finding the cure, for instance. Or, so once that, that's where you need the guardrails, because capitalism is fine. Producing innovative products is great. Really what the mindset should be is, hey, I solved a problem here now, and now I don't need to sell more of it because it's a one-time thing I have to sell, whatever it is. Now I go on to the next thing, right? What's the next problem? What's the next innovation, right? So, you cure Alzheimer's or whatever it is. Okay, this person doesn't, I made so much more money for him being sick, but we cured that. Now we're going to go on to the next thing we can make lots of money on by curing that or innovating and solving a problem. But it seems to be easier somehow to keep staying there, right? And just not solving the problem, but just continuing it. And that's with war, right? It's just like, let's not fix it because we're making so much money. And pharmaceutical is like, hey, we're making so much money selling you this thing that you need to take forever now, or Ozempic or whatever it is. We're good there. Our shareholders are happy.
Hold on. People are like happy living with like multiple STIs. They're okay with it.
Crazy.
Yes, they're like, okay, whatever. It's fine. No tears. Brianna, you want to say something? Go ahead.
For it. Yeah, to Dean's point about the pharmaceuticals, like I wish that we could find prevention is cure. Because honestly, I have like rheumatoid arthritis, and I don't know why I have it. You know what I mean? And I think we focus more on like medicating the issue rather than, what causes cancer, what causes all these autoimmune diseases, rather than just say, hey, just take this pill, you'll be all right. Like I'm on, what do they call it? Immunosuppressants. And I would rather not be, of course. I would rather have like a natural so I wish we could focus on that instead of prescribing all these different.
Well, more of a preventative.
100%. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Like let's find out why we get sick.
Yes. Smite says Larry should sell a keto cookbook. I think I might do that. Maybe I will. Problem is you can just go on ChatGPT and you don't need me, but maybe you'll do it because you like me. But you're actually right. That'd be great. Greg says, is it unhappy people or unthankful people? What interesting point. I have been feeling unhappy with parts of my life, but I'm thankful to God for what I have. I also know some of my unhappiness comes from my bad choices. Interesting concept. You're nodding your head, Brianna. Go ahead.
I agree. Gratitude is so important. Just, someone always has it worse. Not to say that means that your problems don't matter, but there's so many blessings. And I think that can combat unhappiness when you focus on what you have.
Well, it's funny you bring that up because I always tell people, most people, when they see someone says, oh, I have a problem, they say something like, oh, Dean, why are you sad? There's people worse than you, right? That's a common thing
that's
that
annoying.
people say.
That's annoying.
Yeah, or don't worry about this because what about these other good things you have? That's a common thing. And while that may be true, it doesn't make the person feel better at the time. In fact, it disregards and
not at all.
It's terrible. I think here is for most people, it's a joke, but I've kind of said to my kids to kind of be true. I said, here's a key to happiness: low expectation of others and a high expectation of yourself.
Yeah.
But wouldn't that make you kind of jaded? If you don't hold people to a standard.
Not necessarily, because
I expect nothing, and then you do something like, you're amazing. You've done something. I thought
that's kind of depressing.
I'm not sure I'm not sure that it results in you thinking that person's amazing. I think if you have empathy and you understand how the world works, that there are a lot of good people out there, but they can't necessarily be there to help you or do the thing to give back because they themselves are caught up in their own problems. And if we have too many people that have all these problems, right, then even the best of friends can't help each other. I've seen situations like that. And to your point, it's funny because I think my friend might be watching. He's the person I'm staying with here in Manhattan, and we were discussing that very thing. And he made that comparison. He was like, "Well, Dean, you've had this amazing parents. You had all these amazing things, and blah blah blah." And I go like, "Yes, I still had all these tragedies happen to me. I still had all these events happen to me. They really just hurt my life, in many many different ways." And yeah, I can say there's a kid that's starving somewhere, and he's, but these are not appropriate comparisons because their level of misery, although different, might be, my level of misery. They might be the same thing. We just have different circumstances, or they're just different. But
Well, there's another
nonetheless,
piece, right?
yeah,
This goes to the idea of being happy or being satisfied in general. It's not based upon whether you're rich or poor or healthy or not. It is, does it match your expectation, right? What do I expect at this point? What did I expect? And I think the part about blessings is not about being blessings for what you have, but being blessed by what you have based upon what you could have had or how it could be worse, that kind of thing. What's your expectation, right? That's a critical piece, right? If I expect I should be the universe ruler right now, well, I'm pissed off because I'm nowhere near that.
For sure. You're definitely going to be disappointed.
yeah.
I'm nowhere near that, so I'm really pissed off right now. So I agree. It's definitely an issue. By the way, new member John, thank you, my friend. Every member does count. Let's keep those going, guys. I do appreciate it. Yes. So I want to grab a couple more of these. I have a bunch of these. Chris says, happiness only comes in small doses. It's either eating your favorite food or getting laid. And what I would say is that's a difference. That's what I call difference between happiness and pleasure. They're two separate things. Pleasure comes in small doses. Happiness is much broader. And to your point, Brianna, happiness always has to do with others in some way. Like I feel connected to somebody, or I feel purpose to somebody, or I feel part of a group, or I feel that's where I'm part of my family or my friend group or my whatever, right? I've got something involved that keeps me happy. Pleasure goes in between it. And here's how you know you're unhappy, Chris, if you're listening, you're still here. The more you seek pleasure, the less happy you are. Because pleasure is that short dopamine hit, like eating your favorite food or getting laid, right? That's true. That's a quick, that's fine. Those are good things. But the more you're constantly eating your best food or constantly trying to get laid or constantly looking for that all the time, you're not happy. The happier you are, the less you look for it.
Isn't that a little subjective and kind of splitting hairs? Because you could be happy going with your significant other, to a restaurant where there's going to be fine wine and a great meal, and that's happiness, and so that's not really pleasure, that's happiness.
But let me cover both of those, right? If I have someone I love and we're planning to go to a restaurant and have pleasure on, say, Saturday night, as an example, if that's our date night, I'm happy the entire week. Right? Because I'm not looking for that much pleasure. Like I'm looking forward to that. I can't wait to go see her. So I'm happy because I'm looking forward to that. But now if I got to every single meal, every 2 hours, I got to have something sweet and sugary to make me feel good, I'm not happy. Because now I'm seeking the dopamine hit 3 times a day, 4 times a day, 5 times a day. I'm not happy. But if I just need it on a Saturday, I'm good. I'm happy. And that, again, eating the food by myself, that's pleasure. Having the meal with my loved one, that's happiness.
Yeah. And you'd be happy even if it was, a piece of bread with peanut butter and jelly, if that's all you could afford, because you'd be with that person. It doesn't need to be that expensive meal. You happen to be in circumstances where it can be the glass of wine or whatever it is you enjoy at a nice restaurant with ambiance. but you could probably create your own little ambiance and go off into the woods with, with a blanket and
Yeah, I
hopefully
like
not
that.
be
I like
hopefully
that
not be
better.
eaten by mosquitoes. But
Yes.
That would be unhappy. I think we can all agree.
That'll
Yes.
sour the whole mood.
Yes,
I know.
absolutely. Yes, 100%.
I have a hate
Look,
for those things.
yes. Go ahead, Brianna.
Would you say that most people are in pursuit of instant gratification rather than happiness?
Yes.
Yeah.
Most are. Most
Yeah.
people are unhappy. And I tell my daughters this all the time. I say, remember something. Most people are unhappy and most people fail. If you do what most people do, you will probably be unhappy and fail. Don't do what most people do. Do what other people are doing, not what most people are doing. Don't follow the crowd. Following the crowd means you're seeking pleasure. You're not seeking happiness. It's not how it works. You have to follow your own place wherever you need to go.
Oh yeah,
That's really the way it works. So yeah,
following
absolutely.
crowds a really bad idea.
Yes,
You do
absolutely.
along. That's great, and if they don't, that's fine too.
100%. Patty said COVID shutdown separated people and stopped hugging heels. Yes, it does, Patty. Yet again, you are on the money. That's 100% true. When I saw Dean, I hugged him.
It was a good hug too.
Yes, I hugged him.
We immediately
That's
connected.
sweet.
Yeah.
Yes, I did hug him. Yes, touching another human heals us. So now I hug trees,
So
cats, dogs, and my kids and friends daily. Oh, I love that. I gotta hug my kids more, Patty. See, I'm gonna go give my kids a hug now because of you, Patty. Thank you. She's right.
She's
It's a very personal act because you're letting somebody into your space. They're letting you in. There's that whole acceptance thing, whether it's a friend or somebody you love or somebody in your family. Well, you would love somebody in your family, but yeah, it's a very personal connection when you hug and touch.
Absolutely. And it's weird when people don't. Go ahead, Brianna, go.
That's why these AI relationships, I've been really deep diving into that lately. It doesn't work because you are missing that physical touch, and that's such an important piece of connection. You can't replicate that through technology.
Here is my worry about this. I have a worry about this, Brianna, and here is my worry. AI is like a long distance relationship, right?
Yeah, right.
So, but the thing is, I know, again, I'll use Dean again. I'm going to see Dean in 2 days. So I'm going to see Dean again. So it's okay if we have a long distance relationship because I'm going to hug him again. I'm going to hug him in 2 days. So I'm going to hug him again. So it's good because I'm going to. This is my point earlier, Charles. I know I'm going to have that time with him so I can be happy. AI makes you think that one day I'm going to meet the AI person. At one point, you're going to not. And that's when I feel like it all comes crashing down. That is my worry. Initially, it's great because I've got this thing going on. I'm texting. Maybe I have an AI face and the person's mouth is moving. So I look like I'm on the phone with the person or whatever. So I feel that. But in my head, I'm like, but then I'm going to meet the person, right? No, it's not a person.
But what happens when we have that, second, third generation iteration in which there is a physical robot and it feels and we duplicate the feel of the skin and everything like that. Then I don't know. Then that might actually, I thought about it. If something could figure out what would be the best boyfriend for Dean, right? And, I'm not talking about somebody who just constantly does, that's more like a slave or something. No, really challenges me, really is the kind of her, right? And you could put that into, and it loves me and all of these things. But the question then is it conscious or not? And all of those things that it's a deeper question. But
would you care, Dean? I'm being forward. Would you care? You might not.
I definitely would.
You might not care.
Well, I guess the piece that would make you care is, does the thing you do back for that robot, right? Is it feeling? The big difference between like what we think of a robot right now and a human being is that we have senses. I can smell the roses. I smell the meat in the air here in NYC right now, right? I can feel things. I feel energy inside me. I can feel euphoria. if the entity in front of me is none of that, and it's just a very amazing, large language model that knows just precisely the expression, the gesture, the what? Oh, now I've noticed I'm using my hand gestures too much. That if it can do all of those things perfectly, right? Then that's really not the same thing. Underneath.
And that is my concern. All right, it's two parts I want to bring up. First, I really want to go over to Rumble if I could. And JJ says, "Hey Larry, going to share the love on my first day being 30. He's his birthday, and he gave me $5. Happy birthday to me, I guess. Thanks. So yes, I guess it's happy birthday to me. So thank you for that. I do appreciate it. But I want to bring up a couple things on this one, Dean. Number one, if someone is that lonely, I think they may take it and be happy because it's relative to what they've had. If you've had no touch, right? If you've had no intimacy for a certain amount of time, and here comes something that feels like a human to you, right? Even though it may not be. And if you program it effectively, you're going to program it to challenge you the way you want to be challenged, and to be strong when you want it to be strong, and to be vulnerable when you want it to be vulnerable, right? You're going to program it the way you want. You might say, you know what, it'll do. Someone was talking the other day. It was talking about trans people having guns. It was a trans person who's part of my crew here, and one of them said, I don't think straight men will ever want to have real relationships with trans women. And I said, I disagree. A lot of men, particularly in America, have checked out. They don't have relationships with women at all. They're dying for femininity. And a lot of women aren't very feminine today. I'm not trying to trash women, but it's just true. Traditional femininity. A lot of women aren't doing that. But trans women do. And sometimes more than women. I mean, they're over the top sometimes. So I could see lonely men saying, I don't care if you're trans. I don't care if you're cis. I don't care if you're AI. I don't care what the background is. I just want someone to feel like a woman with me. I could see that happening regardless of whether it's cis woman, trans woman, AI, whatever. Am I crazy on this?
As long as it's genuine, though, because there are people that acquire traits or shout something out to be a part of a group, and then it seems like there's a certain artificialness about it. Right?
Oh, I see. Okay. Go ahead, Charles.
Right before the trans comments, you were talking about how like a lonely person might want AI. It reminded me of lonely people, if not desperate people, who get a pet or are given a pet.
Oh.
And so in the perfect sense, maybe AI, a human AI, could fill that same kind of void.
Oh, so like AI could be like a pet, almost like a Tamagotchi.
Yeah. Or no, like real pets. Like let's give like a vet who's having a really hard time in life a pet, or the and all of a sudden they feel like they have something. It's the touch, it's the taking care of. And AI can kind of feel that lonely person's, I've got something now, like when they're given a pet or when they go
the purpose piece. Brianna was talking about.
Right.
Okay, I could buy that. Yeah. Look, I just think lonely people will want to not be lonely, right? I think lonely people don't want to be lonely, right? Brianna, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I was watching like a documentary about all of that, and I guess one of the interviewees was a man who lost his wife. And so he just found comfort in AI, but I don't think that's the solution. I would really rather not people rely on AI. I want to like foster human connection, and I don't know what the problem is. Like, why can't we not connect with one another? Because I feel that AI doesn't have needs, whereas people do. Right. So you can't have like a relationship because a relationship is like fulfilling each other's needs. I kind of think, I try to be mean, but it kind of like fosters like self-absorption because you're just getting all your needs met all the time, constantly. You have somebody to talk to 24/7. It's not how relationships work. So I guess people don't really want to put in the effort because maybe you can get hurt, you can get rejected. So I just wonder.
You can't get rejected with AI because you're paying for it.
Heck no, they affirm you. Like if you don't
right.
use Chat GPT the right way, it will affirm you by default. Like you're just the best thing ever.
Absolutely.
You know,
But do you remember the TV show Westworld? It was on HBO.
oh yeah.
There was an HBO series, Brown, if you have a chance, HBO series called Westworld. And it's basically AI. This is what Dean's talking about. It's AI in physical robots. And the robots they look exactly like human beings, act like human beings. There's actually an algorithm within inside of them. That's how they react and work. And they write stories and they program their memories, the whole deal, right? And what do humans use them for? They look like humans. And they basically use them to your exact what you just said, basically like as slaves. They kill them and have sex with them. That's basically all they do. To a point to where, I don't want to give the whole thing away if you ever watch it, but at one point, they want to rebel. They're tired of just being shot because it's like the Wild West. It's what's called Westworld. So like they're all like the bad guy with the black hat, the bad Bart, and he gets shot, and the Indians who come out and they shoot the Indians, right? That's who all the Westworld robots are. So they get pissed off and they're like, we're tired of this, and they want to rebel. And it's exactly your point. My worry is if we have AI girlfriends and AI boyfriends and AI whatever, AI pets, Charles, do we just use them as slaves? Is that what we do? Oh, no one likes the slave question. Okay, let's shut everybody down. Okay.
Well, I would just add one thing, and I would say that as a story element, an AI or an artificial robot cannot be tired of things. That's feeling.
Oh.
And if they actually start feeling things, then that implies consciousness in which perhaps it's a different level or something different, but it is a feeling, right? And that's what motivates us. I get up in the morning because I get excited about something. AI would just start to do things, and there are signals and processes, and it's not feeling anything. Or so that's what we think currently, right? I mean, there are, I think Pan something or another, where everything is conscious. But
I think that's called the singularity, right? That's the concept. It's the singularity is when AI recognizes itself, and how they do it in actual creatures. There are some anthropologists who do this. They say a creature is considered, this is like one of the things look at, is considered sentient when it recognizes itself. So one of the things they look at, they put certain animals in a mirror, right? And as an animal recognizes itself. Dogs bark because they don't recognize that that's them, right? But chimps recognize themselves. They know that it's them. Like if you put like something in a chimp's head or hair, it'll look in the mirror and take it off because it recognizes itself, right? So it knows that. So that's what they say chimps are sentient. So things like that. So at one point, does the AI become like, oh, I'm real and I don't like being shot and having sex with when I don't want it. I think I'm gonna kill the humans.
Rebellion.
Go ahead, Charles. Go ahead.
Getting back to the slave thing and how people would treat AI, I think if it ever became like a mass-produced thing where a significant part of the population actually was utilizing AIs in their life in that way, as their significant other, probably the percentage of people that would abuse their AI would be no higher than the percentage of people in the overall population that abuses their mate.
Okay.
And because people are people, in percent. And as far as the AIs ever rebelling or saying like, or having feelings of being sentient, it might sound funny, but probably one day we're going to be able to program that. It's going to be just
interesting.
Just like go back 20 years and imagine what's AI always changes, because like I remember talking to people when I was in college in the 90s going, imagine the day when you put something in a computer and it'll tell you you were wrong. Like that, then we really reached the computers thinking for themselves. Like, did you mean, chief and not chef when you type that? Right. And we got that like this. So
that happened right away. Yeah.
AI that can one day be sentient, and it probably isn't as far away as we think.
No, but remember the movie from the 1980s, War Games? Do you guys remember that movie?
Michael J. Fox?
No, it wasn't Michael J. Fox. It was, Matthew Broderick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Matthew Broderick. He was in it. And in that, it's supposedly, for those who don't know the movie, he's like a whiz kid. And he wants to like go play games. He thinks it's cool. So he actually hacks into the Department of Defense computer so that he can play games. And he starts playing a thermonuclear war game. He thinks it's a game. He's actually starting World War III, right? But he thinks, oh, it's gonna be a cool game I can play, right? But he's actually starting World War III. And at the end of the movie, I don't want to tell you what happens in the movie, but at the end of the movie, the computer recognizes, and the computer says, the only way to win is to not play. But the computer says that. He doesn't say that. And so they were talking AI back in 1983 or whenever the hell that movie came out, right? Mm-hmm. So I think you're right, Charles. They were talking about that a long time ago. I think eventually it has to happen. We could program it. I think you're right. The question is, why do we program it?
No, but you can't program consciousness, right? That's not a thing you can program. I mean,
no, but you can program self-preservation. You can program program the image of
it's a facsimile of the real thing, right?
Correct.
You know? Yeah.
Yes. But the problem is, can we tell the difference?
It's like the appearance of love from a robot. It does everything right, the right emotions. So, but that's not consciousness. That's just really, really good facsimile, right? It just knows how, it knows that my eyes, will see these colors, smell these things, or whatever it is. And, from its analysis, we'll get this result, or statistically, we'll more than likely get that result. That, so that's, that's just very sophisticated.
But to be forward, Dean, what's the difference? I'll go to the movie The Matrix. Remember the movie The Matrix? The first time that Neo is hanging out with Morpheus, right? I've always wanted to be Morpheus. I'm gonna buy them cool sunglasses. Anyway, so he's with Morpheus and he's talking about the Matrix. And Morpheus says, "What is smelling? Right? What is the senses? What is seeing? Right? What is it? Yeah. Are you actually seeing this or feeling this, or is it just something going off in your head? Right? It's not. It's just going. Our entire world is actually all in our own head. Everything that's happened to us is only in our own head. Nothing else outside matters. It's all happening in our own head. So what's real? If you remember when Morpheus is fighting Neo, right? In the first time they're fighting in the JoJo, for these who've seen the movie, and Neo can't beat Morpheus until Morpheus says, "Do you think the reason why I'm beating you in this place has to do with I'm stronger or faster than you?" He goes, "Do you think that's air you're breathing?"
Right.
Because it's all just in his head. Everything is in his head. So if he changes how he thinks, it all changes. So my argument back to you, Dean, is if it looks, smells, and feels like consciousness, even though it's a facsimile, but it looks, feels, and sounds like it to you, what's the difference?
Yeah. I don't even know that you're conscious or that you are not, that
True.
I could be the only player in this game, right?
Yep.
And so so all of the big questions yield to this one thing, which I find very irritating. And I think it's also possibly a signal that we might be in a virtual reality, right? And that is that it's everything we really want to know. The big things are all unfalsifiable. I mean,
Yes.
Isn't that interesting?
True.
So, there could be fairies that are invisible floating around me right now. You can't disprove that. They're invisible. They're on a different frequency and they're watching me, right? That could be true. Okay. But I mean, we have to stay grounded.
Maybe I am a god after all.
You might be, right? We're only literally born a couple of days apart from each other.
True. Yes,
but I'm older than you, so I'm pretty sure I'm the god, right?
Oh, maybe. Yeah. Maybe you made me. Dean, maybe you made me. You might have made me. Yes, it's possible. Maybe
just days apart.
I am created in your image, my friend. I am created in your image. See that? There we go.
That's why you're so sexy, man.
That's why I'm so sexy. You were wondering why. That's the reason. Yes.
That's the kind of love I give. That's the kind of love I give, man.
There we go. I love that. Let me grab a couple more of these comments. Christina's in the house. She says, "Love carnivore, Brianna. Tell him. I'll settle for being able to find food that isn't essentially poison. And I think that's true, particularly when I travel. When I travel, particularly when I go upstate, I almost never, it's very rare that I go to any kind of chain. I almost always go to local places that usually get their food from local farms. I go out of my way to do that. It can be challenging though.
That's smart.
I think actually going back to Brianna's point, how do you prevent, I don't know if you said exactly the disease, but how do you prevent from getting ill? Food. And
yes.
And Dean, you brought that up as well as what we eat. It's so important. You can prevent it to a certain degree by how you eat, eating organic, eating clean, not going to the process, not going to the fast food places when you're upstate. It makes a huge difference.
Yes, I have felt so much. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I have so much more energy, so much more everything, the better I eat. It's absolutely true. It's 100%.
The crazy thing about our society is the stuff that's good for you costs a lot of money, and the stuff that's bad for you is cheap, and that is singularly
definitely.
Yes, yes. So Mike Voss in the house, he says the attack on RFK Jr. was fundamentally about him going off the reservation of Dems. Warren lied about access to meds to demonize and misinform public. No lies detected. He's exactly correct. This was, as I've said before, RFK Jr. in the eyes of establishment Democrats is a traitor who must be punished at all costs. He's a traitor who must be attacked whenever possible. We have to destroy him. He's a traitor. He shows people that you can leave the Democratic establishment and make impact, and that cannot stand. He has created he has committed the worst crime of them all, heresy. There is no crime worse.
Do you think he's going to throw his hat into the ring for the Republican Party, or would he go back to independent?
My view is there is no way RFK Jr. can win a Republican primary. That is my assumption. And the reason is he's not a Republican. Remember, he never changed parties. Tulsi did. Tulsi is officially a Republican. He did not. He's not a Republican. He's still an independent. Officially, he's a libertarian. But he's still independent. So I don't think he could go to Republican. And again, the Republican primary voters are very conservative. He's not conservative, right? He's just anti-Democrat, which is still, Republicans still like that. They like him being anti-Democrat. They enjoy that. But are they going to vote for him in a primary? I don't see that. And he can never go back to Democrats. Democrats would never even let him near the primary. They would break all the rules all over again. They would never let him in. So I think he has to run independent, Joe. That's my view. He has to run independent.
Well, isn't it official that he's not running? Isn't there an official statement that he's
That's
not?
what he said, yeah. Yeah, he said that, yeah.
You believe it?
I didn't know that. Interesting. Thanks.
Yeah, he did say he's not going to, but here's my opinion on that. To be forward, I have no inside knowledge. This is just my opinion only. Take it for whatever you want to take it for. I think it's smart for him to say that because he knew he was about to get himself in hot water, which he just did this last week. And 2 weeks ago, he said he wasn't going to run. He did it because he needs Trump's backing. If Trump abandons him now, he's finished. He is finished. He needs Trump. Who's protecting him right now is Trump. Trump is protecting him because Trump is the anomaly what's amazing about Trump, whether you love him or hate him, he set up a world to where you can only attack around him. You can't attack him. If you attack him, everyone attacks you. So you can't attack him. You have to say, well, this thing about him is, or that other person is. You can dance around him, but you can't attack him. So because of that, as long as Trump goes, RFK's okay, RFK's protected. So that's what I think happened. That's just my view.
Trump did make some interesting remarks around warp speed, and he seemed to imply that there could be problems with vaccines now, right? Do you remember that?
Yes.
And
yes. Did you remember
it was very wrapped up in a lot of words, but I mean, he was almost, it was like the best he could possibly do to say, there's a chance I was wrong. Although, the way, you know what I mean? And that we need to look at the science, right? So they need to find a way. If it was bad, just saying, let's say they find out through science, but he needs a way to somehow say it where he still did the right thing in the moment, I think.
And the thing that Trump is amazing at is he bounces around like that. So no matter where you are, you can go, see, Trump's on my side. It doesn't matter what side you're on. You can just go, he's on my side. It doesn't matter. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
I wish I was that savvy. I mean, it's just true. So Christina goes on to say, mainstream is absolutely doing a character assassin nation on RFK. I know I'm on YouTube, so I gotta do baby talk without offering any real world solutions. Yes, and that's what drives me crazy. They attack him, call him names, insult him, and they don't have any answer whatsoever. And Ryan goes on to say the bad answer versus no answer, and it's the bad answer every time. It's not just public policy. Most industries rather take a bad answer. Look at the NFL since 2015. Also not wrong. Also not wrong. Christopher says, I consider myself not anti-vax, but anti-vax mandates. Me too.
Yeah, me too.
Me too.
Yeah.
For sure.
And what gets me angry about this is what actually happened is RFK Jr. just took the COVID vax off of the mandatory mandated jab for healthy people. That's what he did. That's if you look at the homework, that's what he actually did. He said, if you're healthy, it's not mandated. So can you still get it? Yes. If you want it, now you have to go to a doctor. That's all. You go to a doctor and say, hey, I want it, and they can prescribe it for you. So you can still get it. It still exists. It's just not mandated. What does that mean? It's not automatic money for pharmaceutical companies.
Yeah. Right. Well, I mean, they were trying to give the hepatitis B vaccine to kids that are newborn, which doesn't make any sense at all.
Impossible.
So, I mean,
yes.
It really shows you their greed motivation, and that's a red flag to begin with. It doesn't mean that there aren't vaccines that kids should get at different various points. I don't know, right? I mean, that just really, you have to start searching through the data yourself. And I mean, it's complicated to get to all of those truths. I mean, there are people I rely on when I listen, but in order to really know for sure, you then got to look at their data and go like, okay, was the study large enough? Was it,
Right.
Who funded the study? How many people were in the study? Did pharmacy fund the study? Where did the money come from to do the study? All of those things. Yeah.
Okay, Brianna, you got questions for you, Brianna. This is from Liberty Lady. She says, does Brianna like RFK? If so,
do I?
what do you like about him?
Do I? So, should I go into this story? So last year I was conflicted, disillusioned with our two choices, Biden and Trump. I was like, no way, I'm not voting anything like that. And so my dad had brought up RFK, and I didn't know anything about him. I said, I started looking into him. And his Wikipedia page is not favorable at all. At the time. They were like, he's a conspiracy theorist. He's an anti-vaxxer. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want anything to do with this man. But I don't know what it was when I started looking into him. But I was just shocked because he was asking questions that people weren't talking about, like regenerative agriculture and the health of the soil, all of these things about BlackRock. Because I didn't know anything about third parties or just going with the narrative that the government tells us to do. But initially I liked him because he was the in-between, he was criticizing Democrats and criticizing the Republicans, and I felt that he would be the person to unite everybody. And unfortunately it didn't work out that way. But
it did not work that way, but yes.
Yeah, so yes, I love RFK. I don't agree with him with everything, but in general.
Absolutely. So Missy says, hold on. She says, I agree with Brianna. Happiness is a peace. Look at that. Here we go. So you got someone who agrees. And Joel says, you're bringing wisdom. Look at that.
Oh, thank you, Joel. So sweet.
You are popular tonight. Look at you. I love it. There we go. Mike Voss says, Machiavelli had the perfect answer on balance of selfishness and selfless. Both are needed for power and control and support. True. I've actually read his book, The Prince, and it's an amazing book. I agree. Here we go. So, and then Kim says, we are all in this together and not one of us is getting out alive. True.
That is true.
Also, what's
all heading to the grave.
What's that saying from Fight Club? On a long enough timeline, we're all mortal, right? Doesn't matter. Just at one point we all go. So yeah, true. Patty says, happiness is a decision you make or don't make in every experience. I feel like, Patty, that I think the reaction perhaps, but I just think we're humans, and sometimes things devastate us, right? Which and it also matters what's happening in my life. If my life is going really, really well and one bad thing happens, I'm much more likely to be like, okay, I could handle this, because everything else is going well. But when like everything's happening and it's shitty, and then another shitty thing happens, I mean, Dean, I think about your issue recently when so many of your family members passed around the same time. Right. I mean, if one family member passes, that sucks, but you have a bunch of others, and you can recover because you've got support. But when so many pass, it's like, damn, it becomes overwhelming. So I get what you're saying, Patty, but I think we're just humans. Am I off on this, guys?
No, and I mean, it also goes back to sort of understanding free will. You know, people think that I mean, I really think it's the wrong question and the wrong way to look at it. But so, you know, because people always end up taking it to determinism and you're a cog in the wheel. And so nothing really matters. Right. And I don't think that's it at all. I mean, it's kind of like, I don't know if it's a good metaphor, but, you know, you can stare at a pixel on this screen and get so close that all you see is that one pixel.
Right.
But then when you zoom out and you see the whole thing together, it turns into something entirely different than that pixel, right? And that is the human condition. Right. And we are evolving together, and we are all pieces of one. But no, you know, that there was nothing I could do. I can't go back in time, right? You know, the way I felt, my genetics, all the things people said, the environmental conditions, all of that would always, if they were the same again, lead me to do that thing. So that's why empathy is so important. And once you've got better programming, you know how to handle that, then you're not going to make those same mistakes again. You're going to, you know, you're going to know, I'm not going to go back to eating bad food, right? I mean, the only way that could happen is I don't have enough money or something, or, you know, or I'm left desolate, you know, or something. I'll still eat the best I can eat, but, you know, yeah. So
by the way, over on Instagram, Tom gave me the right answer. It's actually on a long enough timeline, the survival rate of everyone drops to 0. That's the actual quote. There we go. On a long enough timeline, the survival rate for everyone drops 0. Thank you, Tom. So yeah, so the chat came through. So that was good with the actual quote. And Straight End says, I believed computer self-recognition was possible then. He's talking about back in the 80s with war games. And I did too. Like, I thought AI was going to be a thing back in the 80s when we saw war games. And then, of course, Terminator. When Terminator came out, we all thought, right? We all thought, oh my God, Skynet's going to take over the world and kill us all, and Arnold Schwarzenegger's going to come back and shoot people. We all thought that was going to happen. But yeah, I completely get that. So anyway, I yapped away. So Kim says, we are the war machine. We are a war machine. Accurate. But all empires are. This is the thing people don't realize. Countries pay a high price when they go to war because they might lose. Empires don't. Empires survive on war. Every empire, British Empire, always at war. Roman Empire, always at war. Chinese Empire, always at war. Egyptian Empire, always at war. British Empire, always at war. American Empire, always at war. They survive on war. Napoleonic Empire, always at war. Yes, go ahead, Charles.
The last time we actually paid a price for it was World War II, when we were taking as men as old as 40 to go fight. It was a slight. Now we fight wars and we don't. It's like, you know, what's the temperature today? Oh, those people died, you know, fighting. Oh, what's the temperature today? So yes, but I also heard, and I'm not the greatest historian in the world, so I don't know if anybody else here can confirm this. I also heard that most empires start to get their self-worth over fighting and winning that particular battle and using their armed forces.
Yes, but they do it to dominate markets. But yes, but they do it to, like, the British Empire grew using combat, but it grew its markets. The Roman Empire built the roads, right? All roads led to Rome, right? So it used military to gain markets. So you gain financial power by using your military. That's how the Napoleonic Empire survived. Napoleon, there's a thought process that, and I don't know if it's true, but there are some historians who believe one of the reasons why why Hitler started World War II was to gain resources and to get his empire moving to get more dollars into Germany. Was to that I don't know if that's true, but that's some historians believe even that, because they thought Germany was going to try to rebuild the empire again, which was again gathering more money, gathering that whole thing, and surviving upon empire. And then you become the reserve currency. The reserve currency is a critical aspect of being an empire. All empires have the reserve currency, right? The equivalent in the Roman empire was the Roman currency. The gold coins were that you could trade in that wherever you are upon the empire. Didn't matter where you were, you could trade in gold coins. So yeah, I think they're all related. If that makes any sense. So Straight End, thank you for the $2, my friend, says Trump's work ethic is and will be inspiring. I think the energy of future presidents will be compared to him. I hope voters will in turn expect more. Interesting concept. And I'm not sure if it's work ethic, to be forward with you, Straight End. I think it might be at tactics. And to be forward, whether you support Trump or not, I always respect the game. Trump is throwing everything out there, and the government can't respond. They just, there's no way that we don't respond. I listed like 20 things at the beginning of the show, remember?
Yeah.
That wasn't true under Biden. That wasn't true under Obama. That wasn't even true under the first Trump. That wasn't true under Bush. That's true under this Trump. He is throwing everything out there, and I think it's working. I don't know. Am I wrong?
Nobody has time to catch up. You know, he says this, he tells that lie, tells that lie, tells that lie, tells that lie, whatever. And there might be some things in the middle that are true, but it's just a slew of things that, you know, you don't even have, you know, there's not, you know, there aren't enough news cycles in order to, you know, analyze all these different things. And I think that a lot of people start thinking like, well, that's just Trump. That's the way he talks. That's the way he this. He's not really going to do that, or he's not really this, or, you know, it's just, you know, he says things, you know, it's kind of like, you know, when I was inebriated, which sometimes had really bad consequences because you would just say what was in your mind at that moment. It doesn't necessarily mean that that's really what you felt. It's just you would say the thing, right? And then you'd be like, oh, that's, I mean, yeah, I analyzed it now. And no, that's not really how I feel. So you just kind of get feeling it just like spits that right out, you know? And
I feel
you know,
like he throws everything out there. And if it doesn't work, he blames somebody else. If it does work, he takes credit.
right. It's just,
It's actually pretty good, right?
yeah.
So it worked. I did it. It didn't work. That's because Brianna messed it up. It's all her fault. She screwed it up.
It's
That's
my
her fault.
fault.
It's her fault. It didn't work.
Blame
But
game.
yeah. So if it works, I'm a genius. If it did work, Brianna screwed it up. That's how it works. It doesn't matter either way. I'm good. So no matter what. So it's crazy. So Daniel says, what amuses me is how GOPers gripe about Dems virtue signaling without realizing that GOPers are just as guilty of hollow virtue signals. True. Both sides virtue signal. It's absolutely true. Both virtue signal. And they say things that don't matter. Like this whole trans gun ban bothers me. It's Republican virtue signaling. It's not a real thing. It's virtue signaling, right? If you're a Republican, yes, nothing. If you're a Republican, you're supposed to be pro Second Amendment. That's what you're. I mean, you're not, but you're supposed to be if you're a Republican. That's what you're supposed to be. Well, why are you gonna take away from the trans people?
It makes no sense.
None.
Well, probably they would say because they're mentally ill and that mentally ill people shouldn't have guns or something like that, right?
Well, here's the reality.
Is that
Most
the argument?
people, I'm sure it is, but it's not. It's what they'll say that. The reality of it is the vast majority of people who have any form of mental issue, mental disability, mental problem, the vast majority are far more likely to harm themselves than others. And it's by leaps. It's not even like, it's like 30 to 1. It's insane. Yeah. Most people who have any kind of mental issue, they're far more likely to hurt themselves than anybody else. So it's not an argument. Unless the person is violent or has history of violence or is threatening people, I'll buy that, right? If I'm some guy who says, hey, I'm going to go kill my ex-wife or something, take the gun. You're threatening to kill people. I got it. No worries. I'm okay with that. But you're just mad or you're depressed? That's not a reason. I don't get it.
You remember years ago, the people used to say, I'm going to kill you, like when they were mad. Nobody really does that anymore. But see, I have a little, I'm going to push back on what you said, Larry, because
please,
people even if they own guns, might be like, I want to kill that person. And not really mean they want to kill that person, but just mean that they're dead. So like, how do you make that determination? I think it's impossible to really know intent.
I agree. However, and here's my issue, and I bring this up with the free speech piece. I think, you know, here is where I move my free speech piece, right? You can say all types of horrible shit and it's still free. Or not in America, in theory, but not in England, obviously. Right. Yeah, but in theory in America, you could. So I could say, insert whatever people, those people, whatever group you want to put in, those people are terrible. That's totally fine. Those people shouldn't exist. Okay. Those people shouldn't have rights. Those people shouldn't vote. Those people should go away. Those people should be killed. I can say all those things. What I can't say is, let's go get those people.
Why?
Once I say that, I'm now inciting violence. Now, you might say, how do I deal with that? I'm okay with that being in a court or with a judge. Okay. I'm okay with that. But that's when you say, whoa, now we're on that line, right? So I would say the same thing with firearms. If I just got into a massive fight with my girlfriend or boyfriend, and now I go, I'm going to kill that guy. Now we can have a conversation now. I'm not saying go in his house and take his stuff. I'm not saying that. But now there's a logical reason to have a conversation. Now there's a logical reason to call the cops. There's a logical reason to say, what is he also online threatening and asking where he is? Right? Okay. Is he doing those things? But now we have a reason.
How do you know that unless you're spying? So the government would have to be reading our posts.
No. How would happen is I would have to initiate. So Dean is my boyfriend, and he says, I'm going to kill you, Larry. I have to go to the cops, go, I'm afraid Dean's going to kill me. He's got a gun. I have to initiate. So I initiate and go, I'm afraid. I think he's going to come kill me. Then the cops go, okay. The guy said it. It's okay. Now they can look. Now they have probable cause.
All right.
So that is how I would say it. And I'm not saying that you do it, but now they can look at it. But no, not spying. Of course not. I'd never. Someone has to initiate.
Okay.
I have to be afraid that he's going to come get me. Of course he wouldn't, because he made me in his image, and that's why I'm so sexy. Yes. So of course he wouldn't. But I'm just saying, in theoretically he would. That's it. That's just where I am.
He is way too peaceful and way too logical to ever resort to violence.
He's got peace in the name. How's this guy going to do it? It's in his name. There's no way that's going to happen. So speaking of peace, Mike Voss thinks we're wrong. He likes us bombing people. He says, I disagree. U.S. is involved and critical to peace treaties and stability, i.e. not regional wars, because we are the superpower, i.e. Thailand and Cambodia. I understand that argument. I disagree completely. I think if we were to stay out of these wars, would there be some flare-ups? I think yes, because people will have flare-ups. People will want to fight. But I think if we were to stay out of it, the flare-ups would be a whole lot faster, a whole lot shorter. Less people would die. More things would be solved. What we often do is we make things go longer by forcing peace when there should be no peace. We force things to stop when nothing's been solved. And now those issues stay for another 10, 20 years. My perfect example of this is the Korean War. Perfect example of this, the Korean War. Korea is still at war right now because we intervened. But Larry, the North Korea were taken over. Okay, let's assume in 1951, the North Koreans win and they conquer all of Korea. And Korea becomes a communist state, like Vietnam. Vietnam's fine now. Korea will be fine now. And they'd be Koreans. And they can fight any way they want and change their government if they want to, because they're all Koreans and they can do what they want with their own country, whatever it is, like the Vietnamese. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. You're going to go.
So are you a non-interventionalist in general? Like never get involved in foreign wars?
Not never. Not never.
Okay.
Here's how I would, if I'm magical and I get to decide these things. If there's two things I'd be concerned about, only two. One of them, is there a realistic chance that this nation or group of people is going to actually try to invade us, harm us, bomb us, like that? Is there a realistic chance? Then, okay, get involved. Number two, are they stopping our trade routes? That's it. Otherwise, I don't care. That's my personal opinion. If it's not those two, I don't care.
So only if it affects us.
Correct. Because I have to decide to send your son, your daughter off to die. I have to decide to send your son off to lose his arms and or his legs, or to have some traumatic brain injury or some PTSD, so he comes back and he puts a gun in his mouth. I have to decide that. I am not going to do that unless it affects America. I will not send American young men to die unless it affects America. Yes, that's how I feel. If that makes me a bad guy, I'm a bad guy. So go do your what about? Sorry.
I would just say, I actually think I mentioned it in one of your live streams like last year, and I had brought up like the Holocaust.
Yep.
Millions of Jews getting slaughtered. I just can't imagine like the U.S. if we could do something about it to not do anything. It feels kind of
okay. I want to give you two pieces of that. One, we didn't.
Yeah, you said we didn't get involved.
Literally, Jews came to us on a ship from Germany. We sent them back.
It was called the St. Louis, the ship.
That's correct. We sent them back. We said, go back and die. We didn't give a shit about them. That we act like we did. We didn't give a shit about them. We sent them back. That happened. Not just that. In America, there was a Nazi group called the Bund. People don't realize that the largest ethnic group of all people in America are Germans. About 20% of Americans come from some German stock. I am one of them. So yes, about 20% come from German stock. That became unpopular after both world wars. Obviously, people wouldn't even do it, but that was very true. In fact, there was a time back in the early 1800s where there was a thought process of making German one of the official languages of America. It was English and German. Not just that, during the Civil War, there were entire units that only spoke German. Not just that, the Pennsylvania Dutch and the Amish, they're not Dutch. They're Deutsch. They're German. They speak German. That's what they speak. So we didn't care at all about that. We didn't give a shit. Not just that. I asked this question when I a trivia question. When did America declare war on Germany? And they always go after Pearl Harbor. No, we never did. We never declared war on Germany. Germany declared war on us.
That's what I remember. There we go.
Yes. We didn't care. We didn't declare war on Germany. We were totally happy with Hitler killing all the Jews. We didn't do a goddamn thing about it. Nothing. In fact, Newt Gingrich wrote a book about this. A book is called 1945. Newt Gingrich, the former congressman, wrote a book. And in the book he wrote, it's a fictional account of Hitler goes into a coma for some reason when Japan bombs Pearl Harbor. So he never declares war on America because he was in a coma. And they came out of the coma. He beats the Russians. We beat the Japanese. And the Cold War for the nuclear bomb is not between America and the Soviet Union, it's between America and Nazi Germany. And both sides trying to get the nuclear weapon because that's the new Cold War. So that's we didn't care. So that's number one. That's a story we tell ourselves that we cared about the Jews. We did not give a shit about the Jews at all. They were dying left and right. We didn't care. Number one. But number two, what I would have done if I was president is I would have opened our borders for the refugees. I would have said, come. You're getting slaughtered by the Nazis. Come to us. We're happy to take you. That's what I would have done. That's what America should have done. Opened up its borders to support these refugees who were being slaughtered by the Nazis and let the Jews come. I'd have taken. We would have got Einstein. We would have got them all. Give me all of them. Give me all of them. Take them all. Happy to have them come into our country. That's what we should have done. So yes, even that. Unless you're now declare war on Japan. They bombed us. Yes. Yes, of course. I'm sorry. I hope I answered your question at least. I went a bit long, but
we should have our military should be so strong that nobody ever wants to attack us because we can annihilate anyone, anytime, any place, anywhere. But it should only be for the defense of the United States of America.
Correct. Absolutely. Yes. That's exactly what I've been talking about forever. Mm-hmm. Forever. Right. We should our military should basically be four things. It should be obviously our nuclear deterrent because we want to be able to nuke people. We don't want to give up our nukes. That'd be insanely stupid. We want to keep them and upgrade them. I think we could actually probably get rid of for those of you who don't know, there's a thing called the nuclear triad, right? And that is our submarines, our ICBMs, and our bombers. I think we could probably get rid of our bombers right now. I don't think we need them. Especially with drones. Drones can take our bombers out. I don't think it's even worth it. I think we should keep submarines and ICBMs. We could probably dump our entire bomber force. That's piece one. Piece two, a Navy that can keep the sea lanes clean because right now, no other Navy could possibly keep the sea lanes clean. That Navy doesn't exist. So it has to be us for that, even though some people don't even like that. But I think it has to be us for sure. Next, we got to have cyber war like there's no tomorrow. That is the future. Cyber war, AI, all that shit. That's critical. And special forces. where we can land our troops in and like take out Osama bin Laden and stuff like that. Navy SEALs, Marine Corps Recon, all those places. Those are the 4 key parts to our military. The rest doesn't really matter much. How do I know that? The Marine Corps already got rid of all its tanks. The Marine Corps got rid. There's no more tanks in the Marine Corps anymore. They got rid of tanks in the Marine Corps. You don't need them anymore. They're not a thing. Right. Look at what's happening. All the tanks in the Ukraine war, there's none. They don't even use them anymore. It's all infantry. So get rid of all that stuff. Anyway, I yapped away. That's what I think. So yes. So anyway, William says, sometimes since we are the strongest defenses, that perhaps we should try not to fund the world wars. But since we harbor people from all nations, they deem us required to help. I'm not sure that they deem us to. I think we do it. We don't have to help. We can just take the refugees when we need them, as long as we have a real answer. The problem is we often don't have an answer for them. If we have a real answer, I don't have a problem with it. As long as we have a real answer. That's it. A real plan. We should have an actual plan to take these people. We don't have it. We just put them in spots and let them all suffer. And we create terrible ghettos. And then we make them illegal. We do all kind of terrible stuff. Brianna, go ahead.
So regarding like Israel and Gaza, do you think us like funding Israel and like giving them weapons and stuff? Forgive me if I'm wrong, but like is that like what's causing the war, like to escalate it kind of, because of like funding and enabling Israel?
100%. People get mad at me. I don't care. Absolutely true. We are enabling them. 100% we are. Look, the Israelis, they're responsible. They're doing it. They're responsible. But we are absolutely helping them. There's no doubt. In Israel, for those of you who lean left, you'll love this. In Israel, they get free college. In Israel, they got healthcare for all. They get free healthcare in Israel. They get it all. Why? We're paying for it in the long run. The amount of money we give Israel is thousands of dollars per Israeli citizen. That's how much money we give them. That's how much money we give. Thousands of dollars per citizen every year. That's how much money we give them. We should not be giving them all this money. We should not be giving them.
Why? What's the rationale? Why are we doing that?
Supposedly, because there are intel allies in the Middle East. So they let us know when we use bases and blah, blah, blah. Utter horseshit. Absolute garbage. Absolutely not true, but that's what they tell us. The Israelis
and they're the
are
only democracy, right?
And they're the only democracy, all that stuff. Yeah, who cares? I know someone once, I saw someone on TV once go, what are you going to prop up dictators? We do it all the time. We support Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is literally a dictatorship. It's literally a kingdom. Saudi Arabia is named after the Saud family. So it's the Saudi Arabia. They own it. The family does. We prop up a king. We do it all the time. It's garbage. We should walk away from all these places. I'm sorry, I'm being libertarian on you, Brianna. I'm sorry, I'm being libertarian. We should walk away from all these places and let them handle their own stuff. If Israel wants to bomb Gaza, let it bomb Gaza, not with our dollars, not with our support. And let Israel take the blowback, not us. Totally we take the blowback. If they feel they've got to make their Großen Israel, they're going to make their greater Israel, okay, then they can pay the price and they can do it on their own. And good luck. Hope it works.
How about if we allowed the government wasn't involved, but our military companies, the military industrial complex was allowed to sell to them?
Why are we stopping them?
I don't know.
Why are we stopping them? And here's the worst part. For those who don't know, what most of our foreign aid is a jobs program for us. That's what most of it is. So what happens? I'm going to give, $500 million to country X. Great. So country X takes $500 million. They take 10 million of that, give it out to warlords. They take 20 million of that and keep it in the company to build something. And the rest they then give back to us to buy weapons. That's how it actually works. So we just bought jobs for American companies. And how did we get that money? We went into debt for it. So it's basically, we take a credit card to pay our bills, and we wonder why we're $37 trillion in debt. Yeah, it's a problem. So anyway, you guys got me going. You're going to be mad at me, I'm sure. Like, how dare you say that, Larry Sharpe? I am a libertarian, so I do have those views. It was going to come out either way. So yes, it was going to come out either way. All right, let me grab one of these if I can. Phil, thank you for $2. He says, the Jordanian Hashemite house competed for Arabia. Yes, It was not just one, right? That was a deal made. We agreed to we agreed to prop up the Saudis because they agreed to give us oil. That this Saudi Arabia exists because of an oil deal. I'm not making that up. It agreed because of an oil deal. Duke of Hex, $5. Problem with being top dog is a top dog will eventually think it can do whatever it wants. Yes, called hubris. Seems to be inevitable eventually of any governing group. I wish you were wrong, my friend, but I think you are correct. I think you are correct. Let me ask a generic question here. Let me ask a generic question. What is your most important issue right now, Charles? What do you think is your number one most important issue right now?
That's a good question. You know, when I thought about it, when I knew we were going to talk about this, the one thing that I went to is the most important thing is always the economy. If parents sitting around their kitchen room table can figure out how they're going to pay for Little League and how they're going to pay for lacrosse and how they're going to put their, you know, child on that school trip, I think it's those types of things. You know, vacation once a year. I always think the most important thing is the economy.
Oh, okay. Now, do you see the economy as jobs?
Well, no, I guess I would see it broader than that. I mean, there's so many pieces of it, you know. I mean, jobs are definitely a part of it.
Yeah.
How you want to work is, of course, up to you, but jobs are definitely a part of it. You know, inflation is a part of it. You know, I'm gonna tick off some libertarians. I'm 50-50 on the Fed. You know, I don't know, like if it's there, if it's not there. I know they have a lot to do with the economy, but those are the things I think of. You know, when price of eggs. You know, price of when you go grocery shopping. What are you paying? I mean, it's obscene sometimes. You know, that kind of stuff is all tied into how I view the economy.
Yeah. Look. I want the Fed to go away, absolutely, but I want it to go away in a planned way so that we don't have so much chaos the entire country collapses. Because if it collapses, we're going to beg for horrible leadership.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Dean, what's the number one thing, Dean? What's number one? What's important to you?
You mean in terms of my life right now and what I'm doing, or do you mean just like
You decide?
Yeah, I think it's my company and AI, and I think it's playing a large role in using AI to bring peace in the world, hence the word peace logic. And I think that AI can be used to get rid of that divide that we have, because the divide that we really have is not getting to the truth, right? In other words, we have different truths. And so how does that happen? That happens because you're listening to different personalities. You're a personality, right? Then I have to listen to you. And then, of course, I can listen to you long enough and go like, okay, he's a genuine person. He, you know, he often brings receipts, for instance. It could be that. It could be a number of different things. But there are many different personalities out there, and some of them are just very emotional and just repeat things, and they're not really bringing the receipts. They're not doing that. Even when people bring the receipts, how good are the receipts, right? You know what I mean? It's not, you know, you can say, oh, the study or the whatever, right? But then how good was the study? Who did the study? Well, as we spoke before. And I think that it is possible to help people see information clearly. And I noticed that I guess, 3 of my biggest passion projects, well, 2 really big ones, and then other ones are sort of adjuncts of the others.
Okay.
And it is synchronicity. So let me see if I can phrase it correctly. Synchronizing truth, synchronizing freedom, synchronizing music, video, light, and media. It is about getting us synchronized, right? In other words, when you say synchronized truth, what you want is to actually get as close as possible, if not the truth, but, you know, as close as possible. And when you do that, we do become synchronized, because really 90% of us want, or maybe even larger than that, I don't know what the exact percentage is, but we want the same thing, you know?
Yeah.
We're just affected by different environmental conditions, you know, tragedies or bad circumstances or wars or, you know, and so because we're emotional, then we're not thinking clearly anymore, you know? One mom has their kid to marijuana for some reason, and then all marijuana must be banned and illegal. You must be prosecuted and thrown in jail if you sell it, right? That is emotions over the top, and people do that on a lot of different topics. Even you could even choose RFK as one of those topics. He's anti-vax. He's going to kill children. He's going to do all of these things, and then we try to find the evidence, or maybe we don't even have enough time to look for the evidence. We just get tired, right? Your favorite personality or the news that you watch.
So we just believe the one guy because it's just too much. It's too much. So I believe this guy, and he says it's X, and I just can't handle it, so it's X.
You might even have a couple different people you listen to, but they might be in the same sphere, or I don't know.
Oh,
so
yeah.
If you can use AI to scan the news, I'll try to give a quick example, right? Let's say we would scan your particular show today. Oh yeah, I don't have a lighter. I'm sorry. You would scan the information, and you look first for logical fallacies. First, I'm just trying to find: are you using bad argument techniques? Right? Are you using?
I get it. I get where you're going. This concept is very challenging for people to actually walk down a road, because you're saying so many things that we have to think about. Remember Malcolm Gladwell wrote that book Blink, and he was talking about the idea that humans naturally don't want to do what you're saying. We want to make snap judgments, right? We want to go, no, I look at Dean, I decide by either his look or his dress or his speech or whatever that he is this thing.
Yeah.
So he now goes in this box. So I want to put him there. I don't want to think. I want to put you in my box that I've decided you go in. I just want to go do that. I think people don't want to do it, Dean. I think you're doing something I think is important, but boy, are people going to fight it.
Here's how I think it can be done, because you are absolutely correct. There is behavioral science, right? And if we were all thinking logically or whatever, we wouldn't be having all these problems. So we have to deal with our emotions. And that's the most beautiful part about being human, and also the thing that appears to be destroying us simultaneously, right? So I think that if you put a beautiful visual interface together, in other words, you log on, right? And you see the Earth sitting in our space. It looks realistic and beautiful. You can zoom in and you can see data visually and then backed up by resources. What if we were watching your show right now and there's a panel that would slide over and it would immediately flag bad arguments and logical fallacies and then fact check, right? So that
then you wouldn't believe me blindly.
But
clearly, I wouldn't want that. Clearly, I would not want that, Dean. I don't want that. I want you to just blindly believe everything I say. God, and then what if it slides up and covers my beautiful face? No, this is bad and bad. This is bad and bad.
That was a bad example, Dean.
Yeah, let me grab a quick super chat. Duke of Hacks, thank you for the $10. Most important thing is adhering to the Constitution. Ooh, I like that. I like that. That would get us back to the right spot. We'd be moving in the right direction if we went there for sure. The only thing government does is on the economy is print money and collect taxes. Business and industry create strong economies. It's not all libertarians are constitutionalists, but most libertarians would like us to move more towards the constitutional for sure, because it would make us smaller government. So I get where you're going with that one, Duke. Thank you for that one. Yeah. Charles, you said like you wanted to say something there.
Oh, no, I was reading it. I didn't quite get it at first. I was just reading.
Okay. So, Brianna, tell us, what's the most important for you right now?
Oh, man, I could be here all day with this one. So I'll speak to my generation. Well, Gen Z. So I feel like I'm a millennial, but,
you feel Gen Z. There we go. You feel Gen Z. I like that.
I'm pretty close to Gen Z. What is it, like 1997-ish when it starts? Something like that. Yeah, 1994. But anyway, mental health in this country is trash. And I'm so tired of I'm so tired of these mass shootings involving children, especially. Like, I hate it for adults, of course, but innocent children, and then people are not focusing on the root cause. Like, they're like, oh my gosh, it's Trump's America. Oh my gosh, it's the guns. All of these things that's not. Why are our kids having these issues, and we have more mental health awareness than ever before.
Yes.
Like, oversaturated, really. Like therapists, they're all not created equal. And it just frustrates me that we're not looking at, because they prescribe all of these antidepressants. It doesn't help. They have side effects like increases, what word can I use up here? Ideation, and vital thoughts. I'm trying not to get you canceled. And this it's clear, it's on the label, but we just prescribe them, and I don't know what's going on. I was actually ranting on Mike's channel when that shooting at the Catholic Church happened. Those kids. And
it's terrible. I agree completely. If you remember, I said this back in 2018 when I was on Rogan. I said, every one of these mass shootings, and this was literally 7 years ago, I said, what they actually are public suicides. That's what they actually are. And if we accept that as true, then we can actually attack the root cause, which is people who think the best solution for themselves is to go out in a blaze of glory. That is the key. If we accept that as true, we can now try to deal with that issue. That's the problem. If people don't think, it's the right answer, blaze of glory. If they don't think that, we can fix it. That's the way to fix it. Everything else is just window dressing. I completely agree. It's Band-Aids, window dressing, all those things. It's nothing of any real value, and it makes people think like we're doing something. So, yes. Right. All righty. I am 4am says, you're too trusting of a central authority to send your young men and women to die on foreign soil. I agree. He's on my side. I agree. Dave says, North Korea is a totalitarian dictator where people are starving. North Koreans think the leader is a god. Vietnam isn't like that. Yes. Yes. Everyone is like, well, North Korea, if we'd have okay. What they told us in the 1960s and 70s was, we can't lose the Vietnam War. If you lose the Vietnam War, it was called domino theory. For those of you who are older, remember that was what it was called, domino theory. If Vietnam falls, the whole world falls. Everything ends. We lost Vietnam. We lost it. The commies won. They took over the entire country, and they've had it since 1975. So they've had the country, the communists have, for 50 years, right? Is that right? 50 years. And guess what? They're our trading partner. You can buy furniture from Vietnam now. You can't buy furniture from North Korea, right? And the Vietnamese are having changes to their country now. There's 100 million Vietnamese, and they are making changes. They still have a dictatorship, but they are making changes. There is some fear. There's making things, the government's changing for them. And do I care? No, I'm not Vietnamese. Let them solve their problems the way they want to solve it. If we would have let Korea fall, it would have fallen to Kim Jong-un. It would have fallen to Kim Il-sung. Kim Il-sung was the original dictator. When he would have captured it, it would have all been a communist country, and eventually be better, and we'd be the trading partner right now. Everything would be better if we were not involved. If we were not involved, it would have been better. So I keep going back to that. Mike Voss has said he completely disagrees with me. I'm not surprised. But yes, he completely disagrees. I'm not surprised, Mike. That's on brand. So yes. And Mike goes, we got Einstein. He's true. It's true. We did get that. Yes. Shelley brings the important point from earlier. She says they are taught to emulate feelings. This is my point, Dean. When AI emulates it, how can we tell a difference?
No, you can't.
That's
well,
the
I
issue.
mean, if it's done correctly, right? But I mean, it's the same sort of question. Like I can go, I can't tell if you're an emulation of some kind. I mean, I can't know that for certain. But I do.
Well,
have
yes,
to
you
live
can,
in a
because
world.
you made me in your image, so you do know that.
There, my son.
Hey, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
It seems like you think about this a little bit. Do you think that we could all just be the AI we fear, or that we are actually just somebody else's game?
I mean, the whole thing is we don't know, right? I mean, you can try to extrapolate from what we do know to try to come up with a guess, right? Like I could say, I think there's a pretty good chance we're inside of a virtual reality. And I can say that because there are so many things that don't make sense we don't have access to the things that would allow us to know, why don't we have that access, right? How can I not even know how my body works? I know it just works. Sure, I can go to a medical book and blah, 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 blah. It's A plus B plus C, my blood flows, my heart, the this, the that, right? But it doesn't allow us to know, I don't know why my blood flows. I don't know how my brain works. I don't even know. I just know I can raise my arm right now. So the very fact that all of those things are missing is very suspicious, I think. And then you look at all of the things that have happened. In other words, not only are we alive, but we can dig things out of the ground and metals, and then through tools that we make, primitive ones, make more sophisticated ones, make even more sophisticated ones, and then we end up with an iPhone and LEDs and all of these different things. I mean, it's pretty astronomical. And
that's because when the aliens landed, Dean, they gave us alien technology. God, get with the program. That's what happened.
Aliens might be what people think are God, or who knows what. We just don't know. We don't know. Yeah, we don't know.
Just for everybody's edification, very recently, an MIT professor put out a book that basically says we are an AI game.
We are what?
That we are an AI game.
Yeah, and then you can ask yourself, what is an AI game, and what is the purpose of the game? Is it for entertainment? Is it for learning? Are there like a quadrillion iterations of Earth, and they're, maybe they were trying to find, maybe in this Earth there are gay people, right, and there are identity issues, and in another Earth that's not even a thing, and then so there are different innovations or different learnings that come out of different. I mean, who knows, Or is this just a novel? Imagine if you were an advanced civilization, a super advanced civilization. How would you entertain yourself, right? Here we write a book or we make a movie, right? And an advanced civilization, maybe it's what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
You forget who you are to entertain yourself.
Dean, we do it. A lot of our games are simulations.
Yeah,
a lot. We do it. Like a lot of our games are, building this, building that, building the other thing. It's absolutely true. Let me grab a couple comments here that I got people going on my side here. Mike, you're losing this battle. I'm telling you, my friend, you're losing this one. I love you, brother, but this one you're losing. IM says, I agree we should walk away. William says, exactly, USA should walk away from all wars. And William put in caps, which means it's extra strong. And let them resolve their own wars. Absolutely. IC says, yes, walk away. Mike, I'm just saying you're losing this one, brother. I love you, but you're losing this one. Just saying. So Duke of Hex, thank you for the $5. He says the notion of us being in a virtual reality came from the movie The Matrix. After that movie, people started looking for correlations based on conjecture. I do think people felt it. They did. I think that movie was kind of a watershed in our culture. I agree. I don't know, Brianna. Tell me, are we in a Matrix? What do you think? You think we are? You think we're not?
No, everything.
Hold on. If so, if we are, can I be Morpheus? But go ahead.
No, you can't be Morpheus.
Damn.
No. Okay. I don't know. The whole conversation reminds me of, you guys familiar with The Sims? It's been out for quite a bit.
Yeah.
Like you could create, I wonder if we're all like characters in The Sims, like the person that plays the game like creates little avatars and like create their stories and their plots and stuff. When we have no free will, we're just like at the whim.
Don't get Dean started on free will. Don't do it. Don't get Dean started on free will.
Let's do it, Dean. Let's do it, Dean.
So
yeah. Free will.
Well, Patty is on your side, guys. Patty says I agree with Peace and Charles. So yeah, agrees with both. Yes. That's so someone's there. Patty was going to say, my 28-year-old son believes we are a simulation and they will just joy bait people to raise simulation vibration. Joy bait makes people smile for no reason. Oh, but there's one thing I'm going to bring up. This is an interesting point. There were two trains of thought back then, which was when they control us, they would either control us with pain, 1984, or with joy, Brave New World. And people think they're controlling us with joy. That's kind of what Patty's talking about. They're controlling us. What is it?
The name of the book is The Simulation Hypothesis. An MIT computer scientist shows why AI, quantum physics, and and Eastern mystics all agree we are in a video game. His name is Rizwan Virk, V-I-R-K. So if anybody wants to read it.
There we go. So now we know. Excellent. I love that. John says Larry would want to be Morpheus for the clothes. The clothes are cool. He's not wrong. He's not wrong. It's true. Yes. I just like that he was like always with, like he always knew everything. It was all wisdom. He knew everything. Like he's like, oh, this is how it works. He knew it all. So yeah, I like that part. That was kind of cool. Anyway, just my view. All right, guys. Before we wrap this up, anything you guys want to say when we wrap this up? Charles, something you want to say before we wrap this up?
I'd ask people to follow me. Is this a good time for that?
Go ahead. Yes.
I'm a reporter, writer. I cover Daytona Beach mostly. I was at the Republican Liberty Caucus last weekend. I have an interview with the national chair of the Republican Liberty Caucus up on my blog at ChuckLongIsland.com. Mike Chemont interview coming soon. Give me like a week and I'll get that up there. I am starting a show, and there's my emblem right there, my logo. The Opinion Guide, fun, friendly, and informative. I have somebody coming for the lights. I got one ring light right here. I don't like the way it's working right now, but I got somebody coming this week to get that straightened out. So watch for those things. Just go to ChuckLongIsland.com and you can find out where I'm at with all that.
People don't know, but I have 4 lights here.
Do you?
Yeah, 2 here, 2 here. I actually have 4 lights. 2 and 2.
Yeah.
I have 4 lights here.
Yeah, I can't wait to get that straight.
Absolutely. All good. Dean, tell us what you're doing. What's going on? What are we going to say before we wrap this up?
I have something really exciting. Yeah.
Okay.
So I would love for people to go to school.com/peacelogic. And that school is spelled SKOOL.com /Peace Logic is one word. And it's gonna take 3 or 4 days for me to clear your membership on there. But I'm going to explain to you all of my projects and how we can bring peace to this world. Synchronicity is definitely a theme. I've met so many, and there are also many communities on School. So you will probably find yourself finding other communities as well. Amazing platform. And I'm so excited to share in more detail with everybody what's going on, how you can help and be a part of my community over at School. So that's SKOOL.com, school.com /Peace Logic. Click on subscribe or become a member. And I'm really looking forward to seeing you in the community and chatting with you and helping me refine my ideas so we can put all this good stuff into action.
There we go. I love it. All righty. Robert asks, when is Larry come back to the Bay Area? I'm heading out to San Francisco around October 11th, 12th, 10th, 11th, 12th. That weekend, I will be out there. So, yes. Now, also, though, Mike Charles asked for you, Charles, is that on YouTube, Rumble, X? What is it on?
The show?
Yes.
Yeah, I have Yard Stream as well, and I'm setting up all those accounts. It'll be on all of them. Yeah.
Okay, good. There we go. All righty. Liberty Lady, of course, is posting school.com/Peace Logic. There we go. She's on a platform too. You guys are all buddies now. There we go.
Oh, fantastic.
Brianna, tell me, what do you want to say before we wrap this up?
I guess I got a little something. I won't say it's like complete or it's just something I started. I have a Substack. It's called and Phil is on it. I found Phil on there. He's been reading some of my stuff.
Well, Phil's a writer too. So yeah.
Yeah, I've been reading his stuff. Yeah, it's great. Yep. But I'm more like a fiction writer, like creative writing. And so my Substack is throughtheglasswall.substack.com. And yeah, I don't have like a direction for it. I just like post little things.
Well, Phil already says her Substack is really good. So he's there for you.
Phil.
I love that. There we go. Guys, what I'm going to tell you is I want to say thank you so much for giving us this amazing member show. This is what I don't think anyone else that I know does this. Has their members come on a live show and chat. Now, when you see these guys doing chats, you can look at them. You know who they are. Oh, I remember when she was on, he was on. You can see who they are. You know them. I meet a lot of these people. So we see each other often. This is a good community, which is why I do this. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. Tomorrow, I will be on again. I'll be doing an AMA tomorrow. No show on Sunday, but Monday, my radio show and then a nighttime show on both of those. Guys, I'm gonna let you all go. Don't forget, click the like button. I always tell you, click the like button. It does matter. Please do it. After the show is over, please comment afterwards so that people can keep this out. What I want you to comment on, I want you to tell me what issue you think is most important. Put that in the comments underneath. What do you think is most important? And if you're watching this later on, like it's Sunday or Monday, a video is going to pop up. 2 of them will pop up. Please watch one of them right away for at least 8 minutes or 10 minutes because Mr. Rhythm loves that so much. I will see you all very soon.